neighbor. Hey, neighbor. Just want to see if I could go in your backyard and grab my football. I was zipping some passes around and one got away from me. Guess when you got a candy like this, it's nothing you can control. It's kind of like eating a Taco Bell. You know there's going to be a bathroom visit at the end of the day. Okay, I'll go grab your football and meet me out front by the gate here. Here you go, Jimmy. Thanks, man. So I noticed you're wearing an NFL jersey. You having a Super Bowl party today? Yeah, I'm having a few people over for the big game. You know, some food, some drinks, maybe play some video games later. Guess I lost my invite in the mail. Yeah, well, you know, you're more than welcome to come over if you want. Well, see, I'm pretty busy these days, but you mentioned video games. You got that Tekken football game? You mean Tecmo? Yeah, that's it. You got that one? Yeah, I actually have several of those games. I'd like to come over and play some of that. Yeah, come on over. I'll fire them up. We can play them this afternoon. Hey, since you like football, I'm gonna go get my NFL scout tape. We can watch that. NFL scout tape? Hey, everybody. Jefferson Webster here. My recent interaction with my neighbor had me thinking about football video games. And I've noticed that YouTube is just flooded with disgruntled Madden videos. And it's funny because I remember a time when football video games were barely even playable. Let's check some of these out. Before early console gaming, this was your best option for football gaming at home. Beyond this, most of the early football games were nothing special on the Atari and early consoles. So let's move on and talk about the first football video games to be released on the NES. 10-Yard Fight was a launch title for the NES released in 1985. It is a black box game where Nintendo was trying to be transparent about the game and its gameplay on the cover of the actual package. Some people like this game and are reverent about it because it's better than the Atari football games before it, but in my opinion, this is the worst of the 30 black box games for the NES. Cyberball was originally an arcade game developed by Atari, but was ported to the NES in 1988. The game is set in the year 2022, so we can all look forward to this in 3 years when robots start playing football. This game is annoying and sucks. Let's move on. John Elway's Quarterback was programmed by Trade West and released in 1989 on the NES. The game was originally an arcade game and later endorsed by John Elway. It is playable, but we still don't have a good NES football game yet. Maybe if the NFL licenses an early NES game, that'll be good, right? No. Let's take a look at the slowest kickoff ever. It's still going. It's still going. Done. This game was released in 1989 by LJN and was the first NFL licensed console game since the television in 1979. What a waste. In 1990, NES Play Action Football was developed by TOSC and released by Nintendo. This one has to be good, right? It's a Nintendo release. Well, it was okay for the time, but it certainly doesn't hold up now. The only good thing about this game is it allows 4 players, which was something, I suppose. Obviously, I've saved the best for last, and well, it's because I wanted to show you guys how much Tecmo actually blew all these other games out of the water. The first Tecmo football game was released in arcades in 1987. The game featured a dual-screen cabinet, 2 teams with no NFL affiliation, and up to 4 players at one time. The music, gameplay, and graphics are all decent. However, let me tell you this game is a quarter hog. If you fail to convert a 4th down or can't stop the other team, then game over. Otherwise, it's a pretty good arcade game for its time. Following the success of the arcade game, Tecmo Bowl was released on the NES in 1989. This was the first video game to ever feature real NFL players based upon a licensing agreement from the NFL Players Association. However, the NFL did not grant consent to use the real team names. Therefore, you get cities with random weird logos, which isn't a huge deal. We all know that Chicago is the Bears, and San Francisco is the 49ers. Tecmo Bowl is one of my all-time favorite NES games. Perhaps it is because I'm a homer and I love my Chicago Bears, who had a great team in the game. Or it could be because this game is just so simple and fun to play. It isn't overcomplicated with a ton of plays, penalties, or frustrating AI. The games are quick and it's fun to play, plus there's elements of strategy involved on defense. For example, you can pretty much intercept any pass if you get your defender in front of the receiver. Sure, the game isn't perfect. It doesn't include all NFL teams, statistics, or a full season, but it's a great one. Nintendo has recently replaced this game on the NES Classic, and evidently they don't have player names in this version, but either way, it's a fun game to play with your nephews. Alright, I spotted you 35 points, Cole. Don't blow this. The The old school video game that's top of everyone's mind is Tecmo Super Bowl. The myth of Bo Jackson is the stuff of legends. However, Tecmo Bowl, the original, is the one that I've always been most nostalgic about. Regardless, whatever happened to the Tecmo Bowl franchise? Well, let's find out. Super Tecmo Bowl was released on the NES in 1991. This time the game has both the NFL Players Association licensing but also the NFL's. This was the first time this had ever occurred in video games. The game has enhancements of all the NFL teams, fumbles, statistics, full NFL seasons, and cutscenes for various play types. The game also has 8 plays instead of 4 in the previous version. It does everything a good sequel should do. It continues the legacy of great gameplay but expands upon it with new features and game modes. And yes, Bo Jackson is unstoppable in this game. Here's my first play from scrimmage when I used him. He took it to the house for 99 yards. One of my favorite things to do in this game is the 100-yard pass. It isn't the easiest thing to do, but if you start around the 20-yard line and find a play with a fly pattern, it can be done. Good times. The game is the most popular of the Tecmo franchise, with many media outlets using it for simulations of current teams and some even referencing it when they see plays from the actual game. Some have even called the game the best football video game of all time. What do you think? The original Tecmo Bowl was ported to the Game Boy in 1991, the same year that Super Tecmo Bowl came out on the NES. And well, it's a good port. If you have a Game Boy, pick it up. Here's my tape, man. Let's watch this. Oh, it's a VHS tape. I think I have a VCR somewhere around here. Hey, you mentioned Tecmo football earlier. What's your favorite Tecmo football game? I like the one that had that Troy Aikman on the cover, I think. That wasn't Troy Aikman, but I know which one you're talking about. Well, if I have a VCR, it's going to be back in here. Let's see. Pop this guy open. Yep, there it is. I don't even know if this thing's going to work. Let's give it a shot. All right, we'll give it a shot. Let's hook it up. Tell you what, man, you're really going to enjoy this. Oh, yeah? Yeah, this is really good, man. This is everything I had, and you could see how great I was. I just showcased my talent. All right, let's see it. Wow, that footage wasn't doctored at all. So did you ever get drafted? Super Tecmo Bowl was released on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis in 1993. The game is very similar to the NES version with enhanced graphics, sounds, and updated rosters. It adds some minor touches to improve the game, such as user touchbacks, the ability to block punts, and dive plays. It also has different forms of weather and identifies statistical achievements such as a 300-yard passing game. Finally, the game allows you to play 3 consecutive seasons. Hey, look at that Michael Jackson. Shamoa! I do have to say that the SNES version is far superior to the Sega Genesis port. That isn't always the case, but for some reason the sound and gameplay was just a bit off compared to the SNES version. Super Tecmo Bowl 2 is a very unusual game in the Tecmo franchise, as it's very rare, with only 15,000 copies released on the SNES in January of 1995. The game introduced trades, defensive injuries, new cutscenes, fair catch, 2-point conversion, 16-play option, audibles, and other features. A lot of people have never played this game, and it really seems like a beta of the next game to come, but if you're a collector, snatch this up if you can find it cheap. Otherwise, just go with the next version of the game. Tecmo Super Bowl III was released later in the year in 1995, the same year as the previous release. The game came out on the SNES and Sega Genesis. It was called the Final Edition, alluding to the game's last development on 16-bit consoles. Aside from the NES versions of the game, this installment is my favorite Tecmo Bowl football game. Free Agency Mode and Superstar Editor were added to the game. I'm going to create Jimmy here and put him on the Bears. Well, we had a big old party. We had everybody from the neighborhood came over and the draft came on, and I waited by the phone and the draft came and went. I went undrafted. Wow, Jimmy, that's really depressing. Here, let's play some video games. To this point, every football video game that Tecmo was putting out was a success. So what happened? Why did all the games disappear? Well, it was a slow burn. In 1996, Tecmo Super Bowl was released on the PlayStation, and I think what developers were trying to do was compete with more realistic simulations like Madden. For the first time in Tecmo's history, they had overstepped and veered too much into realism, removing what made the prior installments fun. Gone were the campy touchdown celebrations, unrealistic 100-yard quarterback throws, and zigzagging your way to the end zone. The magic was gone, and make no mistake, Madden didn't kill Tecmo football, Tecmo had killed themselves. And I'm all about innovation, but if you were going to steal from Madden, consider things like the ability to change players once a ball snaps, stiff arm, and spin moves. No one was asking you to be Madden, but it wouldn't be a problem if you learned a few things from them. Oh well. It's not good. Let's pick a random team. I'm going to go with the Vikings. You know I can make that pass. This little digital guy is terrible. Touchdown. Oh, come on, man. This is some crap, y'all. This is just a joke. Turnover. Catch a ball. Catch a ball. I throw the ball, you catch a ball. All right? Jimmy, your guy's not very good, buddy. You know what? Why don't you finish your little video, and I'm gonna sit here and practice. We'll try this again. Tecmo responded with a retro approach in Tecmo Bowl Kickoff, released on the Nintendo DS in 2008. You'll notice a return to form on gameplay and graphics, however there is no NFL affiliation. The game mitigates this with team and player editing capabilities. This was the first online-enabled Tecmo game with Wi-Fi capabilities. The game was supposed to be ported over to the Nintendo Wii, but it was cancelled and retooled. Tecmo released a retooled game called Family Fun Football on the Nintendo Wii in 2009. I wanted to hate this game, but honestly it isn't bad. I really like what the developer Seamless Entertainment tried to do. The game feels more like a 2-minute drill than a football game, where passing seems to be easier to convert than running plays. Play selection is simple and on par with early Tecmo games. And gameplay is unique. You use the analog to scramble around the field, meanwhile the directional pad selects a receiver in your arm and trigger throws the ball. Once again, the game does not have any affiliation with the NFL, but this can be forgiven. The game features mini-games and power-ups offering an arcade feel. If they would have just used more of an NFL blitz style of defense, then this could have been something. I found myself just wanting to play offense in this game. However, I bought this game for $3, so if you have a Wii and still play it, go get this game. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good in here. Hey, Jefferson, you wouldn't believe this, man. There's videos of people watching other people play video games.
That's Twitch.
It's called Twitch, huh? I got a cousin nicknamed Twitch. He's a truck driver.
Tecmo Bowl Throwback was released in 2010 online for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The game, developed by South End Interactive and Tecmo, tries to cash in on nostalgia, offering a top-down arcade style of gameplay. The odd thing about this game is the controller features a button that allows you to change the graphics of the game, One option is more of a modern look, and the other takes you back to the old school graphics. It has similar features to the DS release and fails to innovate in any meaningful way with gamers. Sadly, this was the last gasp for the Tecmo football franchise.
How did you get good at this? You were terrible just a second ago. Well, I may or may not have powered up my guy while you doing your little video. Were you simulating seasons the entire time I was gone? Well, does a bear take a dump in the woods? Guess what? He does. You rascal. Hey, speaking of rascals, I'm gonna whip up some of my Southern special casserole for your Super Bowl party. I'll bring that over here in a bit. What's the surprise? I don't know yet, but it'll be a surprise when you find out. Can't wait for that.
Tecmo as a company was dissolved in 2010 and is now represented by Koei Tecmo. The company seems to be focusing more on action fighting games such as Dynasty Warriors, rather than anything resembling previous sports titles like Tecmo Bowl. So what's next for Tecmo Bowl? With the explosion of esports, there have been a number of Super Tecmo Bowl tournaments that have popped up all over the country. Additionally, NES ROM hacks have continued to update rosters, giving gamers their Tecmo fix. And this begs the question, will this Koei Tecmo company ever produce a football game again? In a time where online communities can update and modify editable characters, sharing these creations with other players, it seems like as good of a time as any to come back into the fold with the newest consoles. I'm envisioning online tournaments, stats, and videos of incredible plays shared through a social network of nostalgic gamers. Who knows? Maybe they've thrown in the towel for good.
Oh, 300 yards passing. That's more like it.
Touchdown!
Ah, come on. That is a touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Safety!
That's going to be one of these. One of these. Oh man, you're terrible. Alright, I'm done. That is the game. I will be back to give you a lesson later tonight. You keep practicing.
Nowadays, we can confidently say that these 5 franchises were the foundation to football video gaming. Many of them have their flaws, but they have all contributed to where we are today. And I agree with a lot of the criticisms of recent Madden games. I used to love that franchise. In fact, my roommates and I were nationally ranked online in college. However, EA's DLC, MUT coins, and dynamic difficulty adjustment have all made the game about EA and not about the gamer experience. Video games are supposed to be fun, not some painstaking journey of achievements and AI manipulation. This all leaves an opportunity for a new or old franchise to take on Madden in the near future.
Well guys, enjoy the Super Bowl. That's it. Hey Jimmy, looks like you got some food there. You're one of the first people to show up. Come on in. Southern surprise casserole coming at you. I got some Funyuns too, man. Jimmy, what's going on with that jersey? Oh, this is my Payway jersey. Fits like a glove, man. All right. Who you rooting for tonight? Bears. They ain't playing tonight, man. Exactly.